Hey, we'll see you May 11th in Denver, Colorado. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Okay, so they did it. So they, first of all, discriminating against someone based on their anything is already illegal. But now they're making it illegal to criticize Israel. That's what this is. Finally. That's what this is.
Finally, this reign of terror on this campus.
House approves anti-Semitism bill amid pro-Palestinian camp. So what they're doing is making protesting against the genocide in Israel illegal. That's what they're doing. Me just saying this is probably illegal.
I'm just thinking of the pictures of Gaza of every single building knocked the fuck down from the targeted smart bombings. Which are carpet bombings.
Yes, smart.
And I just like, oh, you don't feel safe at the campus because somebody didn't like them pictures? Wow.
So the chamber approved, so this was approved by bipartisan legislation.
Of course it was.
And you know what that means, Kurt?
What?
That means that Democrats and Republicans have both visited Epstein Island.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear.
I wonder if this bill's going to affect Trump University. I'm guessing not many Jews who went to Trump University.
I hope not.
The House approved a bill on Wednesday that seeks to crack down on anti-Semitism on college campuses, because that's the problem.
Yeah, there was so.
That's the big problem. A measure that hit the floor as You know what's going to cause more anti-Semitism? Passing laws like this. Well, how about, you know what else is going to cause more anti-Semitism? Conflating Zionism with Judaism. That's going to cause more anti-Semitism.
That's going to hit a lot of Jews who are going to also study law and also, get real stubborn about it. Like it's a real self-defeating move to make.
This is no doubt about it. This is again the unintended consequences of trying to shut down other people's speech. And so the chamber approved the bipartisan legislation titled the Antisemitism Awareness Act and was introduced by Mike Lawler, a Republican from New York, in a 320 to 91 vote, sending it to the Senate for consideration. 21 Republicans and 70 Democrats opposed the measure. So there you go.
Awareness. Shut up. I hate awareness. That's the word.
The bill, I'm not aware of that hate. The bill would require the Department of Education to use the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's, the IHRA's, working definition of anti-Semitism when enforcing anti-discrimination laws. Who the fuck is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance?
I looked them up. They're from 1998. It's a Swedish group, but you see the working definition? So if I'm understanding this correct, yeah.
Go ahead.
So a working definition means, like, what is a woman? We don't even have that yet.
It's all right.
So that means whatever they decide to make the definition at any given time, I think the law is going to be that.
That's right.
So if they change what it is, the law will reflect their change.
That's right. It's working. We're working.
Yeah. That's a great idea. It's a living document, is what I read. Where they're talking. Yeah.
This is the word. This is the. I'll make this proclamation. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to Jews.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Them doing this. It's going to create such a backlash and an outpouring of anti-Semitism as defined by the International Holocaust
from Jews.
So the group defines anti-Semitism as a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Why am I not allowed to hate someone? Who was that black comedian who died?
Group of trees.
Didn't
he said no? He said Mel Gibson. How rich do you have to be to hate Jews? How much money do you have to make?
But he said he did a whole bit about why can't I hate something.
Yeah, like why? Well, because we can't take a risk on it, and it's really not. You can't dislike the Likud party.
That's what this is.
It's way beyond just Israel. It's like you have to support Bibi.
So they define it as a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community institutions and religious facilities.
Those are already against the law.
It's already against the law.
So
hang on, let me go. The organization provides a number of examples for what qualifies as anti-Semitism, including calling for the harming of Jews in the name of a radical ideology or an extremist view of religion, and accusing Jewish individuals as inventing or exaggerating The Holocaust. Well, they left out examples like stopping someone from spitting on you. Is that anti-Semitic? How about defending yourself from a settler taking everything you worked hard for? That's also anti-Semitic?
None of this covers what is going on at all. Nobody was saying the Holocaust didn't happen at these protests.
No one is saying.
In fact, there's one going on right now in Gaza that, if not for understanding how bad the Holocaust is, I wouldn't know how awful what's happening in Gaza is. It's a crime.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
But that is going to be, by the way, illegal to do that.
Well, I don't go to school.
So here it is. The Holocaust. I went to their website, the Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. This is it literally says working definition of anti-Semitism.
Haven't quite nailed it down. We'll see how this goes.
Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as collective, such as, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy, or of Jews controlling the media. Well, that certainly isn't true. The economy, government. So isn't this bill proof that AIPAC and the Israel lobby has control of our government? Isn't this what this exactly proves?
And they're not using the name AIPAC. They're using the name Jew. They're saying, stop picking on all of us. Yeah. I'm talking to you, motherfucker.
That's
not
right.
Talking to everybody else.
Not talking to all Jews. But that's how they want. So that's why they conflate Zionism with Judaism. So it takes the bad
one. It's on purpose to make it anti-Semitic.
To make everything anti-Semitic. So there it is. And I'm going to tell you, if you call anti-Semitism someone accusing the AIPAC lobby, the Jewish lobby, the Israeli lobby of having control of our government, well, this bill is proof that they do. That's the irony here. But you're not allowed to say that.
Look, I don't think they're the only ones that have control of our government. Clearly, a vast coalition of things that are not in anyone's interest who live here.
Lots of different
control our government. It was clear from Ukraine. It's clear from the Taiwan bullshit, or China Israel, as I call it. It's all the same fucking thing. A bunch of other hands with private equity and foreign investment control every single goddamn thing in this country.
So I think this video could be considered under this new law. This would be illegal. What I'm saying.
Colleges, though, is it not? It's not. This is only in campuses. I thought this was a campus law.
Is this just for campuses?
Yeah, it's like because that's where the levers of power are.
Oh, because
every league system.
So every college, and you know how they do that? Mm-hmm. Every college, if you get a student loan that's backed by the government, which almost all students do at some point, and you go to college, they consider that you taking federal funds. So now the feds can enforce this stuff.
There's already anti-BDS, I didn't even know you're not allowed to boycott Israel in most of the country. Well,
not
that I was going to. I don't think I should be compelled to jerk off to Gal Gadot. I'd like to choose to do that.
There was that. Who was that woman who's on the show many times? That she had the baby. She's a specialist on
Abby Martin.
Abby Martin.
Yeah.
She had a lawsuit because they wanted her to sign a thing saying she wouldn't participate in BDS or be just to go speak at a college. And so she wouldn't do it. So she got banned. And so she put a lawsuit. I wonder what happened to that lawsuit. You should go to her Twitter, see if she's.
I wouldn't even know how to go about boycotting Israel. So it's crazy you have a law.
Well, you don't
just in case I ever want to.
You don't use SodaStream.
No, I don't.
There you go. You're boycotting them.
Am I breaking the law?
According to this,
we got to erase this whole thing.
So they put Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions.
Okay.
I've heard so many Jewish comedians make jokes that say that is happening.
This is all. See, what I'm looking for is.
Okay, so what I found was Martin was challenging a state law that targets the boycott and divestment and sanctions movement that seeks to economically protest Israeli policy towards the Palestinians. A federal court ruled against a plaintiff challenging a state law that requires significant state contracts to include a pledge. So I'm still looking.
Okay.
Well, look, I want to know whatever's in this law that they've said so far. None of it covers the argument. So I want to know how they're going to take this old school thing that I'm not saying and make it into
there's more. Here's more of the definition. And where's this definition coming from? A working definition from the Holocaust Remembrance Association. accusing Jews as people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoings committed by a single Jewish person or group, or even for acts committed by non-Jews.
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. Denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, for example, by claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor. You're not allowed to say that?
You're not allowed to have DNA tests there.
They're saying it's an ethno-state. That's the whole point. That's why they won't let Palestinians become full citizens, because if they did, they would outnumber the Jews there, and it would no longer be an ethno-state. That's everybody
Even
knows.
Though you look very similar.
Everybody knows Israel's an ethno-state.
Yeah. Well,
denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination. Okay. Drawing comparisons of contemporary Israel policy to that of Nazis. I've been doing that left and right. I've been saying Zionism is Nazis. I've been saying that all over the place.
Well, here's something similar.
Lost me an agent.
For both of them, diversity is not their strength. For both Nazis and Zionism. Diversity is not an encouraged thing on any level.
Well, I've heard people make the point that master race and the chosen people sound very similar.
It sounds the same as America's chosen. Look, I'm not even trying to judge, because I think included in this law is a double standard. No, I think America's the devil too. Don't get me wrong.
You can't say what Israel's doing right now you can't say what Israel's doing right now in Gaza is Nazi-like. According to this law, this new law, you can't say Zionism is Nazism.
But you can salute a Nazi in a Canadian
But you
House
can
of
salute
Commons.
a Nazi,
a real Nazi from the bullet Holocaust,
and you can fund Nazis with American taxpayer dollars.
And the ADL guy will declare that Azov, they're not Nazis anymore. They're cool.
They're cool,
and that's why we can pretend there's not a Nazi thing there. Yeah, because ADL.
I found this. The U.S. District Court Judge Mark Cohen sided with Martin and denied a motion to dismiss filed by the Georgia Southern administrators named as the defendant. Judge Cohen ruled that requiring Martin and the other parties who wished to enter into a contract with the state of Georgia to certify that they weren't boycotting Israel was unconstitutional, compelled speech.
Of course.
By the way, this law, you're going to pass this law, which is going to be overturned in court. It's going to be overturned in court.
Compelled speech. You hear that?
Yes.
That's what Jordan Peterson was protesting in Canada.
Compelled speech.
He's very quiet about this compelled speech.
Isn't he? Yes, he is. I wonder why. Maybe $60 million from the Daily Caller. Or with the Daily Wire. That's it.
Daily Wire.
So you can't draw comparisons between what Zionism and Netanyahu are doing. You can't do it. That's against the law, according to this new law.
It's anti-Semitic?
Holding Jews collectively responsible for actions of the state of Israel. So colleges are now banned from allowing any of that or creating an unsafe environment for Jewish students.
Okay, so this is a college law to prove once and for all, no, we're not white. That's what that means. We're officially not white.
We need special protection.
Stop trying to say we're white.
Yeah.
That's what, because I heard the same fight from each side. Is it wrong to call for genocide? Roxanne Gay, I don't know. Then I'm watching the same thing at Columbia where are Palestinians humans. I can't say. They all do the same fucking thing.
Yep.
Because Isn't it
interesting, Kurt, that I pointed this out, that these protests against the Israel genocide and Joe Biden funding it has now put people who support Israel, and most of those people would be considered on the right. They now have to side with the administrations at colleges, which they've always decried colleges and those administrators as woke communists and Marxists. And now they're siding with those people, squashing the free speech of actual Americans who are protesting those colleges.
Well, as you know,
they're protesting the college policies of supporting Israel Zionism. So they're going against the college administrations, which those right-wingers have hated and called Marxists and communists. And so now right-wingers are siding with the Marxists and communists to squelch the free speech of American college students. Bravo! And so this is why, and by the way, now the left, but it's both. So now the people who consider themselves on the left who are protesting this are having their freedom of speech taken away by law, by their elected officials.
Good job.
And you know why this is allowed to happen? Because they didn't stand up for the free speech of the right-wingers who protested January 6th. And you could let those be treated. You applauded those people for getting way longer sentences than they should have for simple trespassing. And you didn't stand up for their right to protest. You said it was an insurrection, a bunch of Second Amendment gun nuts who showed up to overthrow the government, and none of them brought their guns. That's how bullshit. So when the left didn't stand up for the right wing's free speech, and now the right wing is you cheered it on, and now you're cheering on now they're cheering on the taking away of your freedom of speech. So isn't this fantastic? What a great country we live in. They got us hating each other again. And calling for the taking away of our freedoms and liberties.
Jimmy, Joe, minimum wage is woke. The woke minimum wage laws are ruining the country. These anti-Zionist protests are dangerous. Oh, what a fucking joke. Well, this is all a fight.
And I love how they say like that those students don't know what they're protesting. Everybody I know who's protesting knows exactly what they're protesting. I didn't know what Zionism was until Israel started carpet bombing Gaza after October 7th. Now I do. Listen, everybody I know knows exactly what they're. So that's how they dismiss every. And so the fuck you call yourself a right wing anti America first, and you're out there standing with another foreign country against your own citizens. What the fuck?
Well, it's not a principled thing, you know.
Yeah, that's right. So the vote took place as a wave of pro-Palestinian protests, blah, 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 blah. Demonstrators took over a building at Columbia University, prompting a police response. By the way, that's a totally normal thing that protesters do. They occupy a building. That's what unions do when they go on strike. They occupy That's what traditionally, historically, that's always happened.
Remember BLM when you could do whatever the hell you wanted?
BLM, you could burn down a police station.
Well, we've cleared. Yeah, you could burn down a police station with no repercussions. No one's in jail.
Nobody's in jail. The protesters have used chants and slogans such as "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," and have demanded their institutions divest from companies with connections to Israel. That sounds all very reasonable.
By the way, who gives a shit if they said that?
How about they say, "From the river to the sea, Palestinians will be free"? I would change that to "Palestinians will be free." But to me, that's just splitting hairs anyway.
To even fight about a
But they'll never
slogan.
do that. So what they're saying, so that's why there'll never be a one-state solution, because if there was a one-state, Palestinians would outnumber the Jews, and then it wouldn't be an ethno-state anymore. And then they could vote out anybody they wanted. So there's only going to be a two-state solution. Lawmakers have waded into the fray, with some defending the protesters, but many condemning them. Speaker Mike Johnson led a group of GOP lawmakers to Columbia last week, where the members slammed the protesters and called on them to go back to class. A group of Jewish House Democrats did the same days earlier. A handful of progressive Democrats and conservative Republicans opposed the legislation over concerns that it would chill free speech. Matt Gaetz, he called it ridiculous hate speech bill, and that's exactly what it is. So hate speech, when they put it into law, that's going to be used to control you and shut you down, because they can say anything you're saying is inciting hate. So that's there to control you. That's just like the mandates, just like digital currency. That's all going to be used to control you. That's what hate speech laws are there for, to shut you up and criminalize people who stand up against the establishment. Anti-Semitism is wrong, but this legislation is written without regard for the Constitution, common sense, or even the common understanding of the meaning of words. He wrote, Matt Gaetz wrote on Twitter. Jerry Nadler. And you know why Jerry Nadler, who is a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
But Jerry Nadler, a lot of his constituents are Jews. What kind of Jews? Hasidic Jews. Hasidic Jews are against the state of Israel. Did you know that? So the most religious of Jews see Israel as a blaspheme. Gerald Nadler said, despite having devoted much of my life to combating anti-Semitism, he was against the misguided bill because his constituents are Hasidic Jews, and threatens to chill constitutionally protected speech. Even a guy like Jerry Nadler is going to say that. That's because his constituents are Hasidic Jews. Speech that is critical of Israel alone does not constitute unlawful discrimination. By encompassing purely political speech about Israel into the Title VI's ambit, the bill sweeps too broadly. That's what Nadler said. And here's here's the asswipe Congressman Mike Lawler, who introduced this bill. He said, "I'm proud that my bill, the Antisemitism Awareness Act, just passed the House of Representatives 320 to 91. The bill has broad bipartisan support, which means it's horrible, and will begin the process of cracking down on the anti-Semitism we've seen run rampant on." There's been no anti-Semitism that I can see. And all the reports of it are fabricated. All the reports I've seen are hoaxes and fabrications.
Those protesters beheaded 40 babies, Jimmy. They beheaded babies and hung them on clotheslines.
Here's what Glenn Greenwald says. Here's what he says.
Here are some of the things that you are now prohibited legally. Here are some of the things that you are now prohibited legally from doing in the United States. Number one, accusing Jewish students of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interests of their own nations.
You can't accuse them of that.
So if you look at AIPAC, or you look at the ADL, or you look at members of Congress who are Jewish or evangelical, if you look at Ben Shapiro, and you want to argue, you know what, it seems to me as though they're prioritizing the interests of this foreign country in Israel more than their loyalty to the United States. This is now legal. You are illegally barred from saying it. You will be formally and officially accused of anti-Semitism if you make those claims against Barry Weiss or Ben Shapiro or Chuck Schumer or the ADL. That's not allowed. Also not allowed, quote, denying the Jewish people their right of self-determination, e.g. by claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor. What if you think that the creation of the Israeli state was wrong? And that the Israelis don't have the right to have an ethno-state led by and composed of a majority of Jews? What if you don't find that valid or just? You're no longer allowed to express that opinion, because that is something that is now deemed anti-Semitic. Now, you can say it about the U.S. government. You can say, oh, the U.S. government was created by colonizing the land and genociding the Native Americans, and therefore the creation of the United States was unjust. You're allowed to say that. That's perfectly legal.
Can't say it about another country.
Any other country you want, too. You can say it about Egypt or Saudi Arabia. I think the creation of those states were artificial and wrong. You can say it about Pakistan. Whatever country you want, just not Israel. Here's another thing you're not allowed to do. Quote, applying double standards by requiring of Israel a behavior not expected or demanded of any other democratic nation. So if the Congress or the courts or prosecutors believe that you are making criticism of Israel that you don't consistently apply to other countries, you can now be found to be in violation of federal law by being an anti-Semite. You're allowed to put burdens on China that you don't put on other countries. You're allowed to put them on Peru or South Korea or Norway, or any other country you want. You're just not legally allowed to express criticism of Israel that the government might believe is unfair because you're imposing on them a burden that you don't apply equally to other democratic countries. Here's another thing you're not allowed to do under federal law as enacted by the House of Representatives today. Quote, drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis.
Well, we already covered that. And here's some Jews reacting to that. Here's a Jewish woman's criticism of Israel's actions that would now be labeled as anti-Semitic under the Antisemitism Awareness Act. Here's what an actual Jewish person thinks of this.
I have never been so ashamed of Israel as I am at this moment. To me, it seems as if Hitler has won. He's changed us, Jews, from being compassionate and caring and do unto others as you would have them do unto you, into this vicious, genocidal, nationalist nation, pursuing and killing women and children. What we are doing, Jewish people, over in Israel, is shocking, embarrassing, and wicked. And in the name of humanity, I call upon all Jews to shout, beg, scream for a ceasefire. It is not anti-Semitic to have a different opinion on the wartime actions now.
So that's that's on TikTok, and now you know why they want to ban TikTok.
Yeah, she's from Blackadder, the show. Anyway, one little quibble. Do unto others is a New Testament. That's not Judaism. That's Christianity.
That's Christianity.
So, but I agree with the rest of her statements. So, and also that statement.
Again, I will predict this. This bill, worst thing that could happen to Jews. It's going to create an incredible. It's going to confirm every anti-Semitic person's conspiracy theories about Jews and the way they control things. It's going to confirm that.
You know why that's sad? That's hot off the heels of Bibi making a deal with Pfizer to test out the vaccine on Jews first. So after a great success, a safety success like that on you, to have this happen is a real blow.
I believe having a substantial percentage of my financial future secured with gold and silver. I do believe in that. You know this if you watch this show. That's why I decided to partner with our sponsor, Colonial Metals Group. They helped me set up a safe and secure self-directed IRA where I have access to my assets no matter what the stock market, or for that matter, what the government is doing. Let the team of experts at Colonial Metals Group help you protect your family's future. We put together a special offer for our audience. Listen to this offer. Click on the link in the description below or call the special 800 number, which is 888-910-1419, and you'll receive a safe. You're going to get a safe and up to 10 grand in free silver. They say up to. I want to know how much that is going to be. So call 888-910-1419, 888-910-1419, and let a team of experts at Colonial Metals help you protect your family's future. Hey, come see us do a live show. We're going to be in Denver, Colorado, May 11th. Los Angeles, California, doing a live panel show with a celebrity panel and video. Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey, with Max Blumenthal, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Irvine, California, Chicago, Illinois, with another celebrity panel, live video show in Chicago, and Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. jimmydore.com. for a link for tickets.